Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builder Supply. In this video is to bring you a closer look at the ProLok number ELP-240-AL. So what is that? Well, it's a latch protector is what it is. This is what it looks like in the packaging. And I have one removed from the package, so let's go over that. Now this design is inherently one that is capable of handling, a variety of different hardware types because of the large sort of cutout that's there that you can see. Other than that large notch or this large cutout, it's otherwise a fairly common latch protector that you're going to use on those applications that have strike plates. This might very well work to seal off the area covering latch bolts for two locks, like a lock set and a deadbolt, which is part and parcel of why it has this large sort of design. You could also incorporate this very well with a mortise lock, or not that you would use it on an exit device, but you can use it on exit devices that have latch bolts, like mortise style exit devices. The typical exit devices have Pullman latches, and they're well on the inside of the door and generally are all but impossible to get to. But an exit device that is a mortise type, you could use this with a large escutcheon trim. Okay. And this, let's dissect the part number now. Let's go over that. Okay, so let's get the tape measure and start to dissect it. The ELP is going to stand for, your entry armor latch protector is what this is considered. The 240 is a reference to the design, and ProLok has a variety of different designs that are available. There is a link below this video to the manufacturer's page where you can pull up the entire, what's called the Armor catalog from them, and that will allow you to review all of their latch protectors conveniently. The ELP 240 is to be found, or at least on the link that's here on page 12, and is differentiated from its sister products by the suffix -1 or -2, then of course the finish. The -1 or -2 are models that have an anti-spread pin. There'll be a pin that would be welded into the back side of this so that when the door closes, a hole that's been prepared in the frame, that pin will seat into the hole, making it difficult to spread the door and frame apart. A -2 simply has two anti-spread pins, top and bottom. I think those are always a good idea. Unless you know that you're not going to use those or prep the frame for them, I would certainly always use them, would be the case. The next page, you're going to see varieties on that. The model that features no cutout here, which is where you've got ample room between the edge of the lock and where the latch protector needs to be installed. What I mean is, if you had a grade 1 lever lock that had a rose diameter of about 3 9/16 generally, you're probably going to need one that will have a cutout like the ELP 240 versus the ELP 250, which is the model that does not incorporate that. The next page in their product catalog shows variations on all of this, but the ELP 240 is their workhorse, sort of universal type that will fit in lots of applications. This item is, as you can see from there as well, available in AL. Now this is going to be steel, but it's going to have a complementary finish of aluminum. It's like a powder-coated sort of finish. B for brass, it'll be a brass color, still steel. C for chrome, it will be a chrome finish on steel. DU, which is a dark bronze, and that might be a powder coat over a stainless base, that might be. And then, of course, just stainless steel. You'll be able to get those finishes. Now, there is a link below this video to a document called template, and let's go over that now so that we can review that. The overall height of the item per that template is 13 inch. That is indeed the case. The overall width is given at 3 inch. Sorry, I'm reading the template wrong. It's given at 3 9/16. This is closer to 3 11/16. Okay, no big deal. The dimension down in here is about 2 5/8. Okay. Now you can see that you've got this recessed area here to here, and that is for the lip of the strike plate to nest inside of, so that you're not concerned about a conflict between the back side of the latch guard and closing against the strike plate. So let's give you an idea of what the length of that is. So you're about safely 8.5 inch from here to this depression down to here. So keep in mind, if the overall distance between the top of one strike to the bottom of the other strike is within 8.5 inch, it will all be covered by this item. Okay. Now, there's a spacer that's included. Why would you need a spacer? Well, another dimension that we need to give is, you can see over here where there's a offset. Okay. Let's go with the tape measure and take a look at this offset, if we can. Okay. From the, what would be the door side, that offset starts at about 1.5 inches and goes all the way over to about 1 7/8 inches. And then at that point, the question becomes, what is the offset? From the inside of the plate, you're looking at about 1/4 inch. Well, probably more. Let's get the caliper, see if I can get a better idea of that. Caliper just basically makes it there. And you're going to have an offset of about 0.2 inch. So a typical door is inset into the frame about 3/32 of an inch, a small amount. However, depending on the hardware installation, the weather stripping, that offset will allow that door to go slightly further in than normal, and that gives you the breathing room necessary to get that installed. Should that offset not be enough, you can add that spacer and pad that backside here to build that off of the door even further. Okay? That's how that's going to work. Now, the question becomes what is the thickness of the spacer? The thickness is 0.115, so basically 1/8 of an inch. Okay. Installation is accomplished with the 2 carriage bolts that you're going to get. Okay. Carriage bolts, the carriage bolt head will be presented to the exterior, and that square hole, obviously the underside of the carriage bolt has that square feature. You'll have an acorn nut and a washer, and that will finish off the installation on the inside, obviously intended for 1 3/4 inch thick door. There is a link below this video to a document called Installation Instructions. That's very handy, but it's also very simple and straightforward. The half of the installation instruction basically says there's lots of different ones available. Check them all out before you make a final decision. That's in essence what they're saying. Step 1, position the latch protector in the desired position on the door. Close the door and check that the door will close properly once the latch protector is installed. Summary, do a reality check. I do that every single time when I install a latch protector. Just close the door, get it on there. Does it look like it's going to work? If it does, mark the holes. Mark your holes here. Pre-drill them. They're going to want 5/16 of an inch. The 5/16 of an inch hole for these bolts. I generally drill it a 1/16 of an inch larger to give myself a small amount of final fit on the frame. Obviously, complete your installation. Again, if you need the shim, you'll determine that prior to marking and drilling any holes. And then the other situation being with this is if you have one of the anti-separation pins or the anti-spread pins, you'll need to mark that location on the frame and then drill that hole in the frame. A lot of people won't do that because, well, they're a contractor and they're not obligated to do that work. Also, the frame can be packed with mortar, and that's just a disaster waiting to happen. However, if it was me and I knew that I was using it when I was installing the door and frame, I would be placing a very small amount of just white styrofoam with a piece of duct tape. I would, right behind where I knew the hole was generally going to have to be, make it 6 inch long if you want. Tape that in there so that when the mortar is poured, you have a cavity that you can drill into and you'll be in good shape. That's a trick of what a lot of guys will do when it comes to hardware. Block that off. You don't want to drill into it is the bottom line. A lot of people will also do that with weather stripping. Run a small 1/2 inch line of weather stripping of white insulation. Hold it behind there, pour the mortar in, and then you can just go real quick with your screws and attach your weather stripping. Now, the name Pro-Lock is synonymous certainly with latch protectors, as they are with door reinforcing plates, which is very handy. In that catalog that I referred to earlier, we'll show you the comprehensive offering of all that material. A variety of different strike plates that they'll have for use in wood doors, steel doors, when you're trying to repair something or get longer life, serviceable life out of something that may have been damaged. Then near the rear of the catalog, they have ancillary items that you're going to see installed, like filler plates that you'll have on steel doors and steel frames, a variety of different adapter plates, and then they get into some door hardware and window hardware as well. It's actually worth a look because some of that material, there's not really a source for it except Pro-Lock. So it's nice to know that you at least have access to some of those items. If you have any questions on the Pro-Lock ELP-240-AL latch protector or any other Pro-Lock product, please feel free to reach out to us. Thank you.